Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Let's do it.
All right, so today we're tackling something super intriguing, how leadership has evolved over time.
Ooh, yeah.
And we've got this really cool article to guide us called The Evolution of Leadership, From Alpha Males to Egalitarianism and Beyond. Pretty catchy title, huh?
Definitely grabs your attention.
It definitely does. And it's gotten me thinking, you know, why is it that some leaders just totally inspire us while others, well, not so much?
Right. Some just fall flat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in this deep dive, we're going to uncover the surprising history of how we choose who's in charge. And believe me, it's not always what you'd expect.
It really isn't.
So let's start with that classic image we all have.
Yeah.
The alpha male, the big, strong leader who dominates everyone else. You know the type.
Oh, yeah, the one who just muscles their way to the top.
Right. But the article makes a really interesting point. That approach, that whole brute force thing, it might work for a while, but it's not going to last in the long run.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really struck me, too, that it's just not sustainable.
You're exactly right, it's not. So the article talks about this shift towards something called egalitarianism, but what's that all about in terms of leadership?
It's a great question. So it's basically a move towards sharing power and making decisions together.
Okay, so more collaboration.
Yeah. It highlights different forms, like maybe the group makes decisions by consensus, so everyone has an equal say, or leadership roles rotate depending on who has the right skills for a particular situation.
That makes sense.
And here's the really fascinating part. This shift wasn't just some nice ideal, it was vital for survival.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
Yeah.
How did being egalitarian actually help groups survive?
All right, well, imagine a group of early humans, right? And they're facing a life or death decision, like where to migrate to find food.
High stakes.
Definitely. Now, an alpha leader who's only focused on their own power, they might make a rash decision without considering all the angles.
Yeah, that's not going to end well.
Exactly. But with a more egalitarian approach, everyone gets to share their knowledge and perspective.
Okay, so you get more information, more ideas on the table.
Exactly, which leads to smarter decisions and ultimately a better chance of survival, especially when resources are scarce.
Makes total sense. And the article brought up some mind-blowing examples from the animal kingdom. I mean, who knew animals could teach us so much about leadership?
Right, I know, it's pretty amazing.
So what are some of your favorites?
Well, take migratory geese, for example.
Okay, Yeeses.
Yeah, they actually rotate leadership during flight. So it's not about who's the biggest or strongest goose, it's about who has the most stamina and experience to navigate at that specific moment.
Wow, that is wild. Makes my last board meeting seem pretty primitive.
Right.
Okay, so we've got geese sharing the leadership burden. What other animal examples stood out?
Well, orcas. Specifically grandmother orcas. They're the real bosses.
No way. Grandma orcas.
Yeah. They have so much knowledge about migration routes and the best spots to find food.
Ah, I see. Experience matters.
Absolutely. Their leadership isn't about physical strength. It's all about the wisdom and information they've gathered over their long lives.
That is so cool. So knowledge is power, even in the ocean.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about geese and orcas. What about our primate relatives? We share a lot of DNA with them, so there must be some interesting parallels when it comes to leadership.
You're right. The article goes into that too.
Mm.
So chimpanzees, for instance, rely on strength and alliances for sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
But they also use grooming as a major strategy.
Grooming.
Yep. It's all about building and maintaining relationships. So like resolving conflicts and strengthening social bonds within the group.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So basically chimp politics.
Pretty much.
Alliances, maybe some backstabbing.
Well, we won't go that far.
Yeah.
But you get the idea. Now, gorillas, they're all about the classic alpha male, right? The silverback leading the group.
Yeah, I can picture it.
But even with gorillas, when leadership changes happen, the article said it often involves these intense, sometimes even fatal fights for dominance.
Wow. High stakes.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, but now let's switch gears. Completely bonobos.
Ah, bonobos. The peace-loving primates.
Exactly. They flip the script entirely. They show us that cooperation and social bonding can be just as effective for leading a group.
Yeah, they're all about that peaceful matriarchal society.
Right. And it challenges those old assumptions that leadership has to be all about aggression or being domineering.
Okay, so we've got geese sharing the burden, orca grandmas leading with wisdom, and bonobos proving that peace can be powerful. how does all this connect back to us humans and how we lead?
Well, that's where the article gets really insightful. It argues that the traits that helped our human ancestors survive, things like empathy, intelligence, and being able to unite a group, those became the building blocks for effective leadership as we evolved.
So it's not just about being the loudest or strongest anymore. It's about being smart, adaptable, and bringing people together.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. But is there a leadership gene? Or are some
Yeah.
people just born to be leaders?
Well, that's the big question researchers are trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And the article says that while there might be some genes related to leadership qualities,
Interesting.
our environment, like our upbringing and experiences, plays a huge role too.
Okay, so it's nature aiding nurture.
Exactly. It's the super complex mix. There's no one gene that determines if you'll end up in the corner office.
So no pressure then.
Right.
Okay, good to know. But this whole discussion makes me wonder if the article focuses on the past, how leadership evolved over time. What about the future? What kind of leader will thrive in our crazy, constantly changing world?
Oh man, that's the million-dollar question.
Right,
It's something we all need to be thinking about. What skills and qualities will be most crucial?
absolutely. It's a conversation that needs to keep going, for sure. Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive today. It's been fascinating.
Thanks for having me.
And for all of you listening out there, keep those questions coming. And until next time, keep on learning.
See ya.